I know trouble can find me wherever I go, but I've understood that those troubling things that come into my life help me to lean and depend more on Jesus. I'm going to say it more than time. Jesus, he makes the difference. I'm just trying to get these young people to understand that before they go into school, and some have already started school. You got to know Jesus makes the difference. But I love Jairus because here we see, and I'm at my first point already, and I'll be out of your way. We see his compelling request. Jairus' little girl was sick. I don't know how long she was sick. It doesn't tell us, but the Bible tells us she was sick. Sick enough for him to do something or want to do something about it. So let me talk to the brothers for a minute here. I like this passage because I see what Jairus did. And again, we got to understand his position. He's the pastor. He's the bishop. He's the presiding elder in the tabernacle. He was the synagogue leader. But I like what Jairus did. Jairus didn't send his armor bearer. Jairus didn't send his wife. Jairus didn't send a council member. Jairus left his house and went to look for Jesus for himself. Brothers, we got to stop passing off our responsibilities to other people. Yes, we love pastors, and I love my pastor, but there's some things I've got to do for myself. I love my wife, but there's some things I've got to do for myself. I love it because Jairus left his house, went looking for Jesus. And I like what happened, Pastor Fletcher, when he got there. Now, I like this passage because it says he knelt down. But if you look over in Matthew chapter number 9, it says, it doesn't even use Jairus' name, but it says he fell down at his feet and he worshiped. I'm telling you, worship will open up so many doors for you. I'm talking about real, true, genuine worship. I'm not talking about keyboards and drums and guitars. I'm talking about real, true, genuine worship. I've had some great worship experiences, Pastor, riding from my house to Belzer Middle School in the morning. There's no guitar in my car, but I've worshiped him all the way to work. I'm telling you, when you learn the power of worship, you'll really understand how Jesus can make the difference in your life. Well, let me tell you what worship simply is. It's homage that you give to God. That's idolatry to give to anybody else. It's homage that we give to God and God alone. And it's idolatry to give to anybody else. And so Jairus falls at his feet. Forgets about his robe that he might have on. Forgets about his $1,000 suit that he might have on. His $1,000 shoes. He falls at his feet on the dusty roads and he worships Jesus. And this is why I love worship, because if you worship, you see results. You worship and you will see results. You may not see what you want, but you'll sure enough get what you need when you worship. When you lift your hands in total adoration unto him. When you tell him, God, I love you and I know you're able to do whatever I need you to do in my life, you'll see some results. Because what was his request here? He said, my little girl is sick. If you come to the house with me, I know she'll be all right. I love it because verse number 24 says, and Jesus went with him. You having some trouble in your life? It might be one of two things. It might be the relationship. There may be a break in the connection. So let me ask you, how's your worship life going? How's your worship? We just saw these babies worship, but they can't worship for us. They ushered us right to the presence. But when you get there, it's on you on your own. You're on your own. Now, how many of you all would drive? I've drove from Indianapolis to Orlando, Florida before. 14 hours. We drove there with Disney World on our mind. How many of you all would drive that many hours, go to the park, the doors are open, you've got the tickets in your hands, and you stay outside the doors? Why would you do that? But that's what many of us do Sunday after Sunday. The worshipers usher us right to the gate, but they can only take us that far. You've got to enter his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise, and then your worship takes you right into his presence. So that's what Jairus did. Jairus fell at his feet. Jairus, with this compelling request, just simply said, my baby is sick. Come on home with me, and she'll leave.